Hey guys, today I'll show you a horror thriller film collection named The Curse of Second Channel, Part 3. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The first story begins with a man named Shota at his home, where his girlfriend smashes a glass while berating him for not answering her calls or texts. In a fit of anger, he shoves her out the door, instantly promoting her to ex-girlfriend. Shota is overjoyed by this, feeling he has finally gotten rid of a nuisance and can look forward to a fresh start. On that very same day, an online acquaintance he had been chatting with for a long time agrees to meet him at 5 p.m. He excitedly tells himself that he is going to get lucky and fishy tonight. After getting ready, Shota heads to the meeting spot. There, he finds a gentle-looking girl in a white dress. Shota is delighted. She is the complete opposite of his ex. His plan is to take her to dinner, see a movie, and then book a hotel room for a smelly hormone yoga session. However, the girl asks him to help her find something first. Though puzzled, Shota agrees. Before they leave, he discreetly takes a photo of her from a distance and sends it to his best friend with the caption saying his date is successful. With that sorted, he and the girl hold hands and walk along the riverbank as the sun sets, heading to an increasingly remote area. He notices her hand is very cold and tries to flirt, saying that people with cold hands have warm hearts. The girl doesn't respond to his fishy compliment. Just then, Shota receives a text from his friend. The reply is simple. He saw the photo and has a very bad feeling about the girl Shota is with, advising him to cut all ties with her immediately. Shota looks up from his phone, confused, only to find that the girl who was just beside him has vanished. He wonders if she flew away. Recalling the chill of her hand and feeling the cold air around him, Shota decides it's best to just go home. In his haste, he fails to notice a public notice on the ground. A few days later, while heading home from shopping, Shota sees the cold-handed girl again. Just like before, she stands with her head bowed shyly. Curious, Shota approaches and asks her how she disappeared last time. The girl doesn't answer and instead crouches down, beginning to search for something on the ground. Seeing this as an opportunity to be helpful, Shota immediately asks what she's looking for and offers to help. She still doesn't reply. Left with no other choice, Shota crouches down and starts searching with her. They search for an unknown amount of time, covering a great distance, until Shota's back is about to give out. Dropping the pretense, he confesses that he fell for her the moment he saw her. He then crudely suggests that since they are in a deserted, mountainous area, they should hook up and get intimate. The girl seems to get angry. She shoves his butt away and gives him a terrifying look, her eyes turning completely white. A chill runs down Shota's spine all the way to his smelly butt, and he scrambles to get away with his butt unwiped. He doesn't get far before tripping over something. Looking back, he sees that it's a human corpse the girl had been searching for. At that sight, he promptly faints. Much later, Shota is awakened by a voice. He opens his eyes to see his ex-girlfriend, who points out a public notice. The notice describes a murder that took place in the area and asks the authorities to be contacted if the body of a girl in a white dress is found. This indicates that the ghost girl is the one who got killed and searched for her own body. Terrified, Shota decides to forget the ghost girl and get back together with his ex. They start walking hand in hand. During their walk, Shota remarks how happy he is now, a feeling he never had before. His girlfriend tells him that although she trusts him, she is very worried about him. Shota reassures her that he only loves her now. She smiles at him, but the camera then focuses on her neck, revealing distinct red marks from being strangled, implying she is already dead and now a ghost herself. The second story begins with an urban legend. It tells of a red room that is normally invisible. It can only be seen by those on the same frequency who look from a specific angle. However, one must never take an interest in it, for once lured inside, you will be cursed and can never leave. The scene shifts to a cleaning day when it's Yumi's turn to clean the restroom. The graffiti on the walls is incredibly difficult to scrub off. While cleaning, Yumi discovers a few lines of red text describing the urban legend of the Red Room. Below the description, a smaller line of text warns that whoever erases these words will be cursed by the master of the Red Room and trapped inside forever. Yumi is now stuck in a dilemma, feeling she can't erase it but can't leave it either. Suddenly, her best friend appears, startling her. To make up for it, the friend stays to help Yumi clean the graffiti. They divide the work. Yumi cleans inside the stalls, and her friend cleans the outer area. While working, Yumi finds more words in a corner. "Welcome to the Red Room." Below the text is a small hole. Driven by curiosity, Yumi crouches down and peers through it. At first, her vision is blurry and she can only see a red haze. But as her eyes adjust, she realizes she is looking into a red room. Just as she's processing this, an eye suddenly appears on the other side, causing her to jump back in fright. She tells her friend she saw something strange. Her friend comes over to look but sees only the line of text and a drawing of an eye. There is no hole and no red room. The friend even takes a photo of it. They leave, but since the cleaning wasn't finished, they return that afternoon to complete the job. A broom suddenly falling to the floor startles them. Yumi quickly picks it up. Just as she puts the broom back, a hand suddenly grabs her. Thankfully, it disappears after a moment, so Yumi decides not to mention it to her friend. On their way back, her friend sends the photo she took earlier to another mutual friend, Yuzuko. If Yuzuko knew about the Red Room legend, she would probably be eternally grateful. That night, Yuzuko calls Yumi, saying she doesn't understand the photo her friend sent and asks Yumi to come over. Yumi is about to say it's too late, but the phone suddenly emits a static shock, causing her to drop it. Yumi is unsettled, but the night passes. The next evening, her best friend, seemingly in a bad mood, comes to talk. She suddenly says she wants to visit Yuzuko, as she hasn't been able to contact her since the previous day and is worried. The two go to Yuzuko's apartment building. From a distance, they can see Yuzuko's second-floor apartment glowing red, but they don't pay it any mind. They ring the doorbell for a long time with no response. They try calling her phone, but she doesn't pick up. With no other option, they decide to enter her home. Inside, they find numerous bloodstains, and a terrible feeling washes over them. Yumi instinctively grabs a baseball bat and heads upstairs. On her way up, she receives a text from Yuzuko that reads, "Don't be lured by the Red Room." Confused, Yumi quickly texts back asking what she means, but of course, Yuzuko can't reply. Then she sees Yuzuko's computer, which is still on. Displayed on the screen is the photo her friend had sent. The moment Yumi's eyes meet the eye in the picture, a pop-up window appears on the screen. The pop-up can't be closed, and the text on it flashes and multiplies, asking if she likes red and the Red Room. Yumi's vision blurs and everything turns red. She realizes with terror that she has truly arrived in the Red Room and begins to scream at her full chicken lungs. The third story begins with an abandoned building where a gruesome murder once took place. It has since become the subject of haunting rumors, causing most people to stay away. However, a group of young people are unafraid, aspiring social media influencers in need of followers. They decide to investigate the building and start a live thread on an online forum titled "The Real Situation Revealed." After creating the post, they step inside, ignoring the numerous online comments pleading with them not to enter. Immediately, they are hit by a dark, cold atmosphere. One of the men slips and falls, noticing fresh, damp footprints on the floor. They realize someone else must have entered before them. They update their online thread with this information and venture deeper. Suddenly, one of the women sees a disturbing reply to their post, a photo of a phone identical to hers, but completely burned. A man in the group dismisses it as a prank. They continue forward and soon reach the second floor. A man with a camera takes many photos to upload online. As he tries to take a profile shot of his friend, he momentarily sees his friend's face become horribly distorted. He isn't scared yet, thinking it's a camera malfunction. He looks down and then back up, and his friend's face is normal again. When his friends ask what's wrong, the man quickly says everything is fine, and they proceed deeper into the building. They arrive at a large, empty hall, said to be the scene of the original murder. As one of the women prepares to post an update, she finds her phone is dead. For a split second, she sees an image of it being charred. Frightened, she drops the phone. When she calms down and looks again, the phone is fine. A friend kindly picks it up for her. The moment it's back in her hand, it rings. She answers but hears no voice, only a strange, unsettling sound that she can't describe. As she slowly lowers the phone and looks to the side, she sees a terrifying sight. The strange sound wasn't coming from the phone. It was the whispering of a ghost right beside her. The woman screams, drops her phone, and runs for her shitty life. The others chase after her smelly butt but can't catch up. At that moment, a new reply appears on their thread with the title, "Intruders Discovered." Attached is a photo of their backs taken right after they entered the building. Panicked, they start yelling like gooses, asking if anyone is there. One man glances back and thinks he sees a figure moving. Assuming it's the woman who ran off, he gives chase, and the other two follow. They follow the figure into a room but find nothing. They figure the woman might have left on her own. As one man is about to lead the other out, he discovers to his horror that his friend is already dead. The two remaining people are terrified and run for their lives. During the escape, one man trips and is dragged away by a multitude of hands that appear out of nowhere. The last remaining woman doesn't dare to stop. She pushes open a door and runs outside, where she finds the first woman who had run off. She tries to wake her, but she's unresponsive. With no other choice, she carries her on her back and flees. The camera cuts back to the phone left behind inside. Its screen shows an image of the woman carrying her friend. The phone then begins to burn, just like in the photo from the online comment. The woman carrying her friend says they will be okay, unaware that the person on her back is no longer human, but a ghost. The fourth story begins with a group of friends returning from a trip together, having taken many photos. That evening, as they look through the pictures, they reminisce about the beautiful scenery and delicious food, saying they would love to go back someday. It's then that they discover a problematic photo that they suspect is haunted. One of the girls suggests taking it to a shrine to be dealt with. The friend with glasses says to leave it to her. She opens her laptop, logs on to a mysterious forum called Second Channel, and posts a thread titled Paranormal Problem, asking for advice on how to handle the haunted photo. Soon after posting, she gets her first reply, but it's just a useless comment saying to just delete it if it was taken with a digital camera. The second comment is more intriguing. The user claims to have just seen a terrifying photo and includes a link, warning everyone that it is an absolutely, positively must-not-see, super scary ghost photo. One might wonder why he would post it, but some people are like that. The more you tell them not to look, the more they want to. Haruko, one of the friends, is scared and advises against looking. Her friend disagrees and calls for a vote. Majority rules. 2 of the 4 friends immediately raise their hands, and another does so reluctantly. That leaves only Haruko. The motion passes. Since Haruko firmly refuses to look, her friends call her a coward. Haruko doesn't care. While her friends are determined to see the photo, she decides to step out of the room. After Haruko leaves, the others click the link. The image shows a table, a cell phone, a glass of water, and a blurry figure. They wonder if this is the super scary photo, as it doesn't seem like much. But outside the door, things are worse for Haruko. She hears a door in the hallway open. When she looks, she sees a woman who does not look human. Haruko lets out a terrified scream, and when she looks again, the woman is gone. She wonders if her eyes were playing tricks on her. As Haruko tries to calm down and investigate, one of her friends runs out in a panic, telling her something has happened to the other 2. Haruko rushes into the room to check on them and tries to wake them up. This makes the 2 supposedly afflicted friends burst out laughing. It was all a prank. Seeing their jokes succeeded, the friend with glasses tells Haruko to get some water, claiming that drinking it according to the rules will break the curse of the photo. The friends prepare 3 glasses of water, leaving none for Haruko. Following the instructions from the online user, they turn off the lights. With everything ready, the user sends a message with a string of text they can't understand. Confused, they ask what it means. The user replies that it doesn't matter, they just need to drink the water now. The 3 friends take their glasses and gulp down the water. Just as they finish, a new message arrives from the user, saying thanks to them for their hard work. The 3 of them breathe a collective sigh of relief, thankful they found a helpful person online who solved their big problem. The friend with glasses even remarks that handling such matters requires a calm and composed attitude, just like hers. With the issue seemingly resolved, the 3 friends happily head home. However, on their way, one of the friends starts coughing uncontrollably. At first, the others think she just has a cold, but then another friend starts coughing violently and collapses. The other friend realizes the gravity of the situation. She is terrified, but then she feels a presence behind her. She turns around and sees something horrifying, indicating her tragic fate. Sometime later, Haruko, the sole survivor, attends their funeral. The death of her 3 friends makes her frantic. She finds the haunted photo and suspects their deaths are connected to it. The photo shows the 4 of them. 3 are now dead. She wonders if she is next. Fear drives her to irrational thoughts. After much deliberation, she decides to seek a solution online and finds the same method her friend with glasses used. She prepares a glass of water, turns off the lights, and drinks it. After drinking the water, Haruko lets out a heavy sigh, believing she has survived. But then she sees other messages in the thread. One warns people to be careful of this solution, saying that those who drink the water will meet a terrible fate. Another claims that following the instructions is a huge mistake. Someone else states that this is actually a powerful curse, as the characters used are too ominous to be part of a solution. Another user explains that the method is a ritual to make a person swallow an evil spirit. Reading this, Haruko panics. She has already drunk the water. So what is she going to do? Just then, the front door of her house creaks open. Sitting on the sofa, Haruko waits, but no one comes in. She musters the courage to check. The hallway is empty. She can't help but wonder why the door is open or if the thing that was supposed to enter already came in. As this thought crosses her mind, the hair on her body stands on end. She feels a gaze on her from behind. She whips around and sees a ghastly woman with a gaping mouth, ready to swallow her smelly parts. The fifth story begins with a user on the Second Channel forum posting a thread claiming to have found a truly dangerous place. The specific location was an abandoned school within the prefecture. The post quickly gained a lot of attention, including from a girl named Harukawa. Some users even started organizing an expedition to the school. As Harukawa was about to respond, she felt a presence behind her. She turned around to see a woman, likely her stepmother as her own mother had passed away, yelling at her for staying up late playing on the computer instead of finding a part-time job. After being scolded, Harukawa makes a decision. She will join the expedition and see the place for herself. The next day, a group of 4 drives to the abandoned school. Upon arrival, everyone is excited. The place is as desolate as described, looking like the perfect setting for a haunting. After a brief look around, they enter the school. Their plan is to split up to find the rumored haunted classroom. One of the girls in the group is unhappy about this, but has no choice. They go their separate ways. A young man with a camera is the first to enter a classroom. He starts rummaging through the teacher's desk. The camera, which he has set aside, seems to capture something, as it keeps making a static noise. Another girl wanders into what looks like an office. She thinks she's discovered something, but a hand suddenly appears on her shoulder. Looking up, she realizes it's just one of her companions playing a prank. She scolds him for scaring her, saying she thought he was a ghost. Harukawa finds a more secluded area with a dark room. She uses her flashlight to look inside but finds nothing. She is about to sit down and rest when she hears a cry for help, seemingly coming from under a bed. She immediately shines her flashlight under the bed and sees a small ghost. Harukawa screams, and her shout brings everyone else running. She looks under the empty bed again and ultimately decides to keep what she saw to herself. Later, the group gathers in a classroom. They reminisce about their school days and complain that the place isn't as scary as the forum post made it out to be. Just then, Harukawa takes out a printout of the photo from the forum and points out that this classroom looks different from the one in the picture. She suspects the photo was taken somewhere else. One of the men suggests the photo was probably faked or photoshopped. Ultimately, they all feel they've been tricked. They conclude that the original poster never actually came here, that the photo was just a random image found online, and the location was picked arbitrarily. It seems their trip was a waste of time. Harukawa remains silent, knowing that the place is genuinely haunted. That night, Harukawa receives a call from one of the girls from the group. The girl tells her that their video from that day is out, and that it supposedly captured a ghost. She invites Harukawa to watch it with her the next day, but Harukawa declines, explaining that it's the anniversary of her mother's death and she needs to visit her grave. As she speaks, she faintly thinks she hears her mother's voice. Meanwhile, the girl and the other man go to the cameraman's apartment to watch the video. They ring the doorbell for a long time with no answer. The man impatiently tries the door and finds it unlocked. They let themselves in but don't see the cameraman anywhere. Wondering where he could be, they decide not to wait and turn on the TV to watch the video themselves. Suddenly, a strange noise comes from the closet. The girl cautiously approaches to investigate. The moment she opens the closet door, she sees the cameraman's dead body. Even more terrifying, the video on the TV starts playing on its own. On the screen, they see the small ghost that Harukawa had seen earlier. The two are terrified and cling to each other, and that was the end for them. In the evening, Harukawa receives a call from the police. That night, she goes to the station, where a police officer shows her files on the 3 people who went with her to the school. All 3 were found dead in their homes. The police investigation revealed that the last call one of the girls made was to Harukawa, so they hoped she might have some leads. Hearing this, Harukawa is terrified and tells the police everything that happened the day before, including the part about capturing a ghost on camera. The officer is clearly skeptical, which is understandable. He dismisses her, and she leaves. On her way home, Harukawa comes across a crying little girl. She kindly approaches to ask what's wrong, but before she can get the words out, she regrets it. The girl is the same small ghost from the school. The scene shifts, and Harukawa somehow finds herself back at the abandoned school. At first, she's scared, but she reasons that fear won't help. Since she's already there, she might as well figure out what the little ghost is up to. She finds the ghost, who doesn't transform this time. The ghost tells Harukawa that her father killed everyone and that she's very scared. Harukawa's maternal instincts kick in, and she comforts the girl, promising to protect her. Just then, a man approaches. Startled, they hide in a closet, planning to wait for him to leave. However, the man is not foolish and waits outside the closet for them. When he sees them, he begins to repeatedly tell Harukawa to run away. As the man lunges at them, Harukawa somehow finds a knife and kills him. With that, the little girl is freed from the man's control. She stands up and, in a demonic voice, thanks Harukawa for saving her. Then, she lunges at Harukawa with a ferocious expression. Back at the police station, the officer decides to watch the ghost video. To his shock, he genuinely sees the ghost of the little girl. It turns out the little ghost was the true evil all along. She manipulated Harukawa into killing the man who was restraining her, the man she called her father. The man's warning for Harukawa to run was genuine. The ghost's claim that her father killed everyone was likely a lie. She was the real murderer. The sixth story begins with 4 people being video chatting by candlelight, telling ghost stories. The first man's story is so boring it nearly puts everyone to sleep. Nakamura decides it's his turn to salvage the mood. A girl named Saki is excited, as for some reason, she loves listening to Nakamura talk. Nakamura's story is simple and is presented as a personal memory. He explains that one night he was video chatting with friends, just like they were doing now. But as he spoke, his friends' faces turned to terror. They pointed behind him, trembling, saying there was something unclean there. At first, Nakamura thought it was a prank because when he turned around, he saw nothing. But later, he happened to see in the reflection of his webcam that there really was something behind him. That was his horror story, quite terrifying and fitting for the occasion. After finishing, Nakamura blows out his candle. Another man says he needs to use the restroom. Now only Saki and another girl are left to tell their stories. Saki asks the other girl who wants to go first. The girl tells Saki to go ahead, saying she'll go last. Nakamura warns her that the person who blows out the last candle will encounter a ghost. The girl is startled by this, but Nakamura quickly says it was just a joke. After he says this, the girl secretly opens the second channel forum on her computer. She posts a help request with the prefix urgent, asking for scary stories. She admits she doesn't know what to tell, which is why she asked to go last. The moment she posts the thread, she feels a presence behind her. But when she turns around, just like in Nakamura's story, she sees nothing. At this point, Saki begins her story. It is even simpler, just one sentence. She says that everyone present had actually died in an accident the day before. The girl listens, her eyes wide with disbelief, and a chill runs down her spine. Saki has a strange smile on her face, and it doesn't seem like she's lying. The next moment, the girl feels a hand on her shoulder that quickly vanishes. It's so strange. She looks back at the screen, and everyone who was there just a moment ago is gone. The girl is terrified, not knowing what is happening. Just then, she gets a reply on her second channel thread. It contains a link. The girl clicks it and is taken to a news article titled, 3 Kyoto University students die in accident. When she clicks further, her face pales and her pupils dilate. The article says 3 people died, but it lists the information and photos of 4 people. The 3 of them are her friends, and the last is the girl herself. The girl finally remembers. The 4 of them were in that car accident. She had miraculously survived, but had been in a coma ever since, lying in a hospital bed. For some reason, she had forgotten. Her friends had come back this one last time to help her remember, and with that, the story ends. The 7th story begins with a playboy drinking at a bar when a beautiful woman buys him another drink. After drinking it, he's convinced that the woman must be captivated by his handsome looks. He ends up going back to her place that night. They start getting intimate, but at the crucial moment, the woman stops him and tells him to take a shower first. Barely containing his excitement and his smelly sausage, the playboy apologizes and rushes to the bathroom, telling her to wait for him. As soon as he is in the shower, the woman quickly goes through his jacket and finds his phone. She uses his phone to call her own number, getting his phone number. She then starts composing a message to send to him. But just then, the playboy comes out of the shower, incredibly fast. The woman is stunned and quickly tries to explain she didn't mean anything by it. Seeing this, both the playboy and his chilling sausage cool down. He tries to get his phone back, but the woman refuses, saying she's just using it to send a message. He insists, and they get into a struggle. In the scuffle, the woman accidentally hits her head and dies to meet Jesus. The playboy is horrified. What was supposed to be a one-night stand has turned into a homicide. Even in death, the woman clutches the phone with the unsent message. The next day, the woman's death is on the news. Her high school classmate, Hana, sees it and becomes very anxious, unable to concentrate at work. Her boyfriend notices and asks what's wrong. She explains that around the time of the woman's death, she received a text message from her. Hana shows the message to her boyfriend. It's a chain message that says whoever reads it will be cursed. The curse's intensity is determined by how many people it's sent to. If it isn't forwarded within 24 hours, a ghost will appear. After reading it, the boyfriend dismisses it as a hoax and immediately forwards the message to his own phone. He leaves, leaving a worried Hana behind. That afternoon, Hana goes to see another classmate, a talented and well-regarded programmer at a communications company. She hopes he can help her trace the message's origin and find out what power it holds. Her classmate finds it absurd, telling Hana that for a top student like her, being afraid of this is ridiculous. He then takes out his phone, intending to forward the message to himself, just as Hana's boyfriend did, and telling her not to worry because he will forward it to others. Hearing this, Hana reluctantly gives her phone to her classmate. After successfully forwarding it, he reassures her that she should be fine now. That night, Hana is on a date with her boyfriend, but she is still preoccupied. She asks him if he has already forwarded the message to someone else. He tells her not to worry, saying it will be fine even if he doesn't. Meanwhile, the classmate is working late, coding. There's fruit on his desk and a bottle of beer. The beer glass somehow breaks, spilling onto his computer tower. Then, his code starts malfunctioning. As the classmate is trying to figure out what's wrong, the computer tower explodes, knocking him down. A nearby knife coincidentally falls and kills him. Hana can't sleep that night. The third day, she sees the news about her classmate's death. She is terrified. Since she forwarded the message to her boyfriend before her classmate, she is now extremely worried about him. She immediately leaves work to find him. It takes a long time for her boyfriend to answer his phone. She urges him to forward the message immediately, insisting the curse is real. The boy still doesn't believe it. At that moment, either due to a bad signal or some malicious interference, he can't hear what Hana is saying. Suddenly, the street explodes in a massive blast that Hana can see from far away. She freezes, thinking her boyfriend must be dead like a piece of shit, but he stands up, seemingly unharmed. He finally believes Hana and the curse. He takes out his phone to forward the message, but it's too late. He is suddenly hit by a car and killed. After his death, his severed hand coincidentally lands in a way that sends the message. At the same time, a heartbroken Hana receives a text. It's from her boyfriend. It's the curse message. Hana screams no at her full chicken lungs. The 8th story begins in a messy room where a girl named Yuki is frantically typing on her computer, searching for any clues about the Samajima incident. As she searches, something terrifying happens. Her bedroom door swings open. She looks back and sees nothing. But when she turns back to her computer, a pair of hands reach out from the screen and pull her in. Her mother is devastated, refusing to believe the official police report that her daughter committed suicide. She is convinced someone killed her. She shares her suspicions with Yuki's teacher and gives her the key to her daughter's apartment. She begs the teacher to go to Tokyo on her behalf to uncover the truth and bring justice for her daughter. So the teacher travels to Tokyo and enters Yuki's apartment. The first thing she sees is a notebook on the desk. After looking through it, she finds no useful clues. She instinctively lifts the laptop lid and sees a fleeting shadow behind her, but when she turns, there is nothing. The teacher continues her search and finds a photograph on a shelf that startles her. That afternoon, using information from the photo, she finds the man in the picture, Kagawa. After explaining her reason for being there, she asks him about Yuki's death. There is another man with Kagawa, and both seem surprised by the teacher's visit. Their expressions tell the teacher they know something, but Kagawa seems unwilling to talk. Left with no choice, the teacher leaves her phone number, telling him to call her if he changes his mind. After the teacher leaves, Kagawa's friend suddenly remarks that this must be related to that incident. Kagawa denies any connection. That night, Kagawa is heading home when he receives a call from his friend, who urges him to come over immediately. The friend says he is investigating the incident. Although Kagawa wants to stop him, his friend tells him that if they don't do something, both of them will be killed by Yuki. Just as they are talking, the call abruptly ends. This feels like a very bad omen, so Kagawa rushes to his friend's place. When he arrives, no one answers the door, but it strangely swings open on its own, as if something was waiting for him to walk into a trap. The apartment is pitch black. In the moonlight, Kagawa sees his friend slumped over a table. He calls out his name a few times with no response. When he reaches out to shake him, he sees his friend's horrifying, mangled corpse. The sight terrifies Kagawa, and he collapses to the floor, though thankfully without wetting his pants. At the same time, the teacher has returned to Yuki's apartment, trying to find more clues. She searches everywhere but finds nothing. Finally, she opens the laptop that seemed to show a ghost. On Yuki's desktop, she finds a link labeled Samajima Incident. Clicking it takes her to a forum discussing the topic. Before she can read much, she receives a call from Kagawa. The next day, a still-shaken Kagawa meets the teacher at a coffee shop. As soon as he sees her, he breaks down, crying that his friend is dead. The teacher, however, is calm and directly asks Kagawa to tell her everything he knows about the Samajima incident. Kagawa is surprised she has gotten this far. Since she already knows, he sees no reason to hide it anymore. He tells the teacher that he, Yuki, and his friend had once participated in a seance with a large group of people. During the seance, someone mentioned the Samajima incident. Everyone found it interesting. But shortly after, Yuki changed completely. She became obsessed, frantically searching for any information related to the incident. Her search led her to a shrine that seemed to be connected to it. She then asked Kagawa and their friend to go to the shrine with her. The photo of Kagawa and Yuki was taken there. As for what the Samajima incident actually is, Kagawa still has no idea. He admits that he never believed in paranormal things before, but now, with 2 people dead, reality has forced him to believe. After he tells her everything he knows, the teacher asks him to accompany her back to that shrine. The scene shifts, and Kagawa is at the shrine once again. The 2 of them search from afternoon until evening, and from evening until dark, but find nothing. Kagawa is frustrated. The threat of death is making him break down. He screams, demanding to know what the Samajima incident is. After his outburst, he can only accept reality with resignation. At this moment, the teacher suddenly points out that right after the seance, only Yuki died while everyone else was fine. She wonders what made Yuki different from the others. Her words leave Kagawa confused. He asks her what was different, but if the teacher knew, she wouldn't have come here with him. The teacher then takes out the photograph from her bag. As she looks at it, her expression changes to one of shock. Her reaction catches Kagawa's attention, and he snatches the photo from her. He sees that in the photo, his own face has become distorted and grotesque. This might mean he is next to die. In that instant, Kagawa feels all his strength leave him. He slumps onto the steps, realizing he is doomed. Seeing Kagawa's state, the teacher suddenly has a thought. She gets to know that the photo has been taken by Kagawa's friend and, besides the 3 of them, none of the others from the seance didn't come to the shrine. She finally understands what was different. The shrine itself has nothing to do with the Samajima incident. The shrine is the problem. The curse originates from this shrine. As she realizes this and looks back at the shrine, a cold gust of wind blows, sending a chill down their spines. As if summoned by something, Kagawa suddenly drops to the ground and peers through a crack in the steps. He sees a pair of eyes. Then, Kagawa's world turns to black and white. The teacher is gone. He is all alone, and the owner of the eyes is crawling towards him. As Kagawa's desperate scream cuts off, he too is dead. As for the teacher, she no longer obsesses over the Samajima incident. While she still doesn't know what it is, she understands the true horror behind it. A real curse born from a lie. Perhaps if no one had sought the truth, no one would have died. But it's too late for such thoughts now. The teacher's time is up. The face in her photograph has also begun to distort, suggesting that she is next in line to die. The 9th story begins with a car accident that occurs on the street. A girl in the car dies instantly, her blood staining a doll she was holding. This scene is witnessed by a man named Fujino. Fujino is a blogger, and what is a tragedy to others is merely clickbait material for him. He not only records the event, but also uploads it to his blog. As he watches the upload complete, Fujino imagines the video going viral. Just then, he receives a call from an unknown number. The caller says her name is Mary and she's looking for someone. Fujino tells her she has the wrong number since he doesn't know that person. The caller hangs up, leaving Fujino bewildered. The next day, Fujino tells his friend about the call. His friend smirks and explains that Mary's call is an urban legend about a cursed doll named Mary. The doll follows a specific pattern when haunting its victim. First, she calls to say she is at the station. Then she calls to say she is at your front door, then outside your room, and finally right behind you. But it's just a legend, so his friend treats it as a joke. Fujino, however, is concerned. He asks his friend to help him log onto the paranormal board on 2nd Channel. He posts a question, asking what he should do because Mary has been bothering him lately. The post gets many replies, mostly mocking him, saying Mary is just a legend and questioning why anyone would take it seriously. Just as they are talking, his friend's girlfriend arrives and the friend has to leave. That night, Fujino receives another call from the unknown number. The caller says she is now at the entrance of his apartment building. It seems Phase 2 has begun. Fujino is scared and, not knowing who to talk to, posts about it online again. The online users half-jokingly advise him to run for his life. Just then, his doorbell rings. Phase 3. Fujino is terrified and doesn't dare to open the door. He peeks through the peephole and sees his friend. This unexpected late-night visit startles him, but honestly, he is glad to see him. Once inside, his friend sees Fujino's computer and that he is still asking about Mary online. At that moment, Fujino's phone rings again. The caller says she is downstairs. His friend snatches the phone and tells her that the person she is looking for is at his place, so she should come and have a check. It must be said, his friend is truly loyal, though he has no idea his life is now in danger. The third day, the friend's girlfriend comes to find Fujino, saying she can't get in touch with her boyfriend. Fujino is surprised as his friend went home the previous night. A bad feeling washes over him. He immediately tries calling his friend twice but can't get through. Around noon, Fujino receives another call from the unknown number. The caller says she went to the wrong place and that she hates liars. Fujino asks what she did to his friend, insisting the person she is looking for is not here. A moment later, the woman says she is at his door. Fujino rushes to the door, only to find a drunk man outside. But just as he lets his guard down, a figure appears in the crack of the door. Then Fujino blacks out. When he wakes up in his apartment, it's already afternoon. Fujino is terrified. According to the online users, he has now reached the third stage. To find out if she has truly entered his home, he needs to set up a video camera. Fujino follows the advice. After everything is set up, his phone rings. This time, it's the police informing him that his friend is dead. He rushes out and goes to his friend's apartment building. The friend's death was gruesome. The horrific details are omitted. That night, as Fujino is grieving, his phone rings yet again. It's Mary. Fujino doesn't dare to answer. He immediately removes the battery and throws the phone far away. But the phone eerily emits a voice, saying she is now behind him. Fujino is terrified. He slowly turns around, but there is nothing there. Relieved, he thinks he was foolish to believe such a thing. But as he calms down, he notices a new message on the website with a video link attached. A user sent it, saying his daytime recording captured something. Just as Fujino clicks the link, there's a knock at the door. Now, as timid as a mouse, he doesn't dare to open it. After a moment of thought, he hides in the closet. Unbeknownst to him, the people at the door are the police. Seeing Fujino's expression earlier, they suspected he knew something about his friend's death and came back to ask more questions. Since Fujino doesn't answer, they assume he's not home. Meanwhile, hiding in the closet, Fujino continues to watch the video. He sees that shortly after he left his apartment that afternoon, a woman in a red dress walked in. Seeing this, Fujino covers his smelly mouth, trying not to make a sound. It's absolutely terrifying. The woman stands there for a very long time. The video is fast-forwarded by the user for about 3.5 hours, roughly until the time Fujino would have returned home. The woman then moves. She walks around the room and finally stops right in front of the closet where Fujino is now hiding. Then, the video cuts out. Before Fujino has time to be horrified, he hears that chilling voice again saying she is behind him. Fujino turns his head and, indeed, sees the terrifying female ghost, who just wants to have a ghost baby with him. The 10th story begins with a girl named Rika who is constantly bullied at school by a few classmates. Even the teacher's intervention is useless. Filled with hatred, Rika finds a curse method online. It's a website where if a name is written 1,000 times, it will turn red. The person whose name turns red will die to meet Satan. At first, Rika is just trying it out. She starts writing the name of one of her bullies on the site every day. A few days later, the name indeed turns red. The next day, Rika learns that her bully is dead. The incident is a big deal, and the police even come to the school for questioning. Their first suspect is Rika. Rika doesn't understand why they suspect her. She never called or texted the girl. The police explain it's because she was known to be bullied by the girl at school. This infuriates Rika, and her hatred extends to her homeroom teacher. Due to the long-term bullying, her thinking has become extremely radical. She decides her teacher deserves to die too. So she continues the curse, writing her teacher's name. Even in class, she is completely distracted. Finally, the teacher's name turns red. He writes his own name on the blackboard, then jumps to his death. From this point on, Rika becomes increasingly obsessed, almost addicted. She wants to eliminate the other two people who used to bully her. This is discovered by Hana, the only person in the class who never bullied her. Hana tries to stop Rika, telling her she's having a mental breakdown and shouldn't believe in such superstitions or let herself sink deeper. Rika doesn't listen or bother to explain. She knows Hana has never experienced it and wouldn't understand. But that night, something unexpected happened. On the curse website, Rika finds her own name. She is stunned. She thinks all night but can't figure out who is cursing her. The next day at school, she first confronts Hana, suspecting it was her, since only Hana seemed to know about it. But looking at the scrolling name on the site and Hana's empty hands, she realizes she was mistaken. Then she goes back to the classroom and confronts another former bully. But the bully knows nothing about any curse website and isn't cursing her. Rika can't figure out who could be. She becomes frantic, desperate to find the person cursing her. If she isn't quick, it will be too late. But just then, the name that has been scrolling all night finally turns red. Seeing this, Rika breaks down. She tries to flee the room, but the moment she steps out, she is targeted by an evil spirit, and then she dies. A horrible, horrible death. At the same time, on another phone, the person cursing Rika is finally revealed. It was Rika's own mother who wanted to stop her crazy daughter. And that's where the story ends. The 11th story begins with an introduction of tulpa, which is defined as a visualization of the power of thought, a manifestation of human consciousness as a spiritual entity. In layman's terms, when you imagine someone with all your might, that person will appear before you, visible only to you. The timeline goes back 1 month. One night, Yamazaki receives a call from his friend Jimmy, who invites him to participate in a research study on tulpas. Jimmy explains the concept to Yamazaki, but Yamazaki is hesitant. At best, it sounds like dual personality. At worst, it sounds like a mental illness. He refuses. Jimmy quickly clarifies that it's different from a mental illness because the entity is not in your mind but is a separate person you create. He adds that if Yamazaki participates, he will receive 300,000 for his trouble. Hearing this, Yamazaki hesitates. 300,000 would be enough for him to slack off for a while longer. He now has no reason to refuse. The next day, Yamazaki and Jimmy go to the research facility to sign the contract. The terms are simple. Yamazaki must live there during the research period, with food and lodging provided. The payment will be made in full at the end of the experiment. Finding no issues, Yamazaki signs. A female researcher then explains that their goal is to create the tulpa phenomenon. So before the experiment begins, both Yamazaki and Jimmy must each choose a female subject. Without hesitation, Jimmy pulls out a photo of his late girlfriend. They were about to get married when an accident separated them forever. Jimmy misses her deeply. If the experiment could truly let him see her again, he would do it for free. As for Yamazaki, he is single. The researcher hands him a photo album and tells him to pick anyone. Yamazaki chooses a girl, it being love at first sight. The experiment begins. Yamazaki is confined to a small room and his daily task is to fantasize about the girl. At first, it's fine. She's pretty and easy on the eyes. But as time passes, Yamazaki grows more and more frustrated because days go by with no sign of the tulpa phenomenon. A few days later, Jimmy's experiment succeeds. He even introduces his revived girlfriend to everyone. Yamazaki is utterly stunned. He can't see any people there. Jimmy realizes this and proceeds to introduce Yamazaki to his invisible girlfriend anyway. After a while, he insists on taking a photo with Yamazaki to commemorate the occasion. Yamazaki is in a daze the whole time, finding it all incredible and not knowing what to say. But watching Jimmy's retreating figure, Yamazaki tells himself he needs to try harder. Back in the lab, he looks at the girl's photo and prepares himself. With some guidance from the researcher, he quickly gets into the right state of mind. He imagines and imagines. It could have been moments or a long time later, but the girl truly appears before him. Seeing this beautiful woman, Yamazaki is stunned again, but after exchanging a few words, the woman faints. Panicked, Yamazaki asks the researcher what he should do. The researcher advises that his imaginative power is too weak, and the woman needs his stronger energy to be sustained. Hearing this, Yamazaki immediately throws himself back into fantasizing. That night, after being single for over 30 years, Yamazaki finally has a companion. He succeeded, got the money, and left the research facility. He uses the money to buy the woman the best perfume and rent the largest apartment, happily starting his new life. One day, Jimmy suddenly asks to meet Yamazaki. He says he's having problems in his life. His girlfriend is telling him to die with her. The thought of committing suicide with his girlfriend constantly haunts him, and she claims her death wasn't an accident but his fault. Seeing Jimmy's distress, Yamazaki tries to comfort him, pointing out that his current girlfriend is just a product of his imagination. He tells Jimmy he's getting too invested and has lost his reason. He suggests that if this is the case, he should just create a new, better girlfriend. Someone cheerful and normal, like the woman he fantasized, who brings him joy. After hearing this, Jimmy says to his girlfriend beside him, asking if she hears that. Only then does Yamazaki realize that the invisible girl is sitting right next to them. Mortified, Yamazaki is about to find a hole to crawl into when he looks up and sees that Jimmy has committed suicide right in front of him. Yamazaki is terrified. When he gets home, he immediately calls the research facility, telling them that the girl Jimmy imagined had developed her own consciousness and caused his death. The facility's response is very official. They state that the contract clearly says they are not responsible for anything that happens afterward, and they had already warned that the experiment carried certain risks. Therefore, Yamazaki should not bring this up again. Yamazaki is furious and is about to call the police, but his imagined woman suddenly appears and asks if he is okay. Seeing her, Yamazaki stops and tells her that Jimmy is dead. The woman replies that Jimmy deserved it for not imagining properly. Yamazaki yells at her to disappear. He looks up and she's gone. He thinks she finally left, but she suddenly embraces him from behind and whispers that she will never disappear. Perhaps due to Jimmy's death, Yamazaki now feels fear whenever he sees the woman. Since she won't disappear, he has to leave his home. He goes outside and calls the research facility again, saying his fantasized girlfriend has also become strange and is no longer what he imagined. The people at the facility are still dismissive, suggesting it might be because Yamazaki isn't concentrating enough and advising him to try imagining more carefully. Yamazaki hangs up in anger, but with no better options, he decides to follow their advice and starts to imagine with intense focus. That night, Yamazaki returns home and sees the woman sitting at the table waiting for him. His heart softens and he apologizes to her. The woman says she doesn't blame him and that she is lonely. Yamazaki takes out a knife, preparing to kill her, but she suddenly says she has created a tulpa. Hearing this, Yamazaki notices many photos of himself on the computer. He turns around and is horrified to see another version of himself. Looking at a dead cat on the floor and the blood-soaked man holding a knife, Yamazaki remembers something. On the night they came back together, the woman had complained his cat was noisy and asked him to silence it, but he had ignored her. Now this version of Yamazaki, created by the woman, seems to understand her perfectly, and she naturally prefers him. But Yamazaki can't understand why he can see the tulpa created by his own tulpa. The woman explains that she created him and he created her. It's all his own fantasy. The woman corners him, and the shock causes Yamazaki to faint. When he wakes up, he finds himself back in the research lab. He doesn't know how he got there, whether what happened was a dream or how he arrived. All he knows is that he needs to get out immediately, but the lab door is locked and he can't open it. He tries calling the researcher, but no one answers. In despair and anger, Yamazaki pounds on the door, unaware that the woman is right behind him, her face menacing, walking towards him. Yamazaki screams frantically for someone to open the door. At the same time, elsewhere, the female researcher remarks that a tulpa creating a tulpa is an extremely rare phenomenon and a major breakthrough for their research. She says this case could define the future direction of their studies. The 12th story begins with Hana breaking up with her boyfriend. She asks her two best friends, Kyoko and Nana, to help her move her things out of his place. She also rents a new apartment and moves everything there. Hana's new apartment is in a great location, very close to the station, yet the rent is suspiciously cheap. After some questioning, Kyoko and Nana find out that the apartment is a so-called stigmatized property, a place where a violent death occurred. They are scared enough to wet themselves, but Hana is unfazed, asking if anything could be scarier than being poor. Frustrated, Nana and Kyoko prepare to leave. But just as Hana is closing the door, Nana sees a ghost. It's just for a second, and when she looks again, it's gone. She wonders if her eyes were playing tricks on her. All she wants now is to leave quickly. That night, while Hana is sleeping soundly, the TV in her room suddenly turns on. Hana gets up to turn it off, muttering about the faulty TV. As she is about to get back into bed, she hears a strange noise from under it. She looks down and sees a woman. The sight terrifies Hana, and she immediately calls Nana, saying something is strange in her apartment. But before she can finish, the woman appears again. With a blood-curdling scream from Hana, she vanishes without a trace. No one knows where she went, no sign of life, no body. Kyoko and Nana are persistent. A few nights later, they go to Hana's apartment to investigate. Not only can they not open the door, but they also run into the building manager. They ask the manager if something had happened in that room before, but she denies it. With no other options, they prepare to leave. But as they are driving, a person suddenly appears in the middle of the road. The car can't stop in time and hits them. The two women rush out to check, but there is no one in front of or under the car. After calming down, Nana notices a scratch mark on Kyoko's hand. Later, Kyoko drops Nana off at her home. As she is leaving, Nana is horrified to see a woman standing next to Kyoko. Nana is terrified but doesn't tell Kyoko what she saw. On her way home, Kyoko's phone rings. She quickly pulls over to answer. The call is from the missing Hana, but when she answers, there's no one on the line. As she grows anxious, the female ghost suddenly appears. With a scream from Kyoko, she too vanishes. Nana starts researching recent strange disappearances. Her investigation reveals that a total of 4 people connected to that apartment have gone missing. The first was a man in his 30s, and the next 3 were all women. As she is reading this, Nana is horrified to find a scratch mark on her own wrist, suggesting that the ghost from that place has targeted her too. To save her sexy self, or perhaps to understand what is happening, Nana musters her courage and goes to the apartment that night. This time, when she arrives at the door, it opens on its own before she can even try. She hesitates for a moment, then steps inside. The apartment is dark and eerie, looking much the same as when Hana moved in. Nana searches the room and eventually finds a strange gourd, which she recognizes as a gourd from a forum post. The moment she touches it, her vision flashes. It's daytime. The room is the same but much messier, and it seems to be occupied by a man. As Nana wonders what's happening, she sees a man cutting a woman's hair. The woman looks just like the ghost she had seen before. After cutting the woman's hair, the man, with a crazed expression, stuffs the hair into the gourd. Meanwhile, the woman manages to use scissors to cut her ropes and tries to escape, but the man stops her and kills her. After killing the woman, the man sits at his computer as if nothing happened, frantically replying to users on Second Channel, saying he has successfully made a gourd and that it is so beautiful. He even smiles perversely. Nana can't bear to watch. She turns away and the room returns to its previous state. She crouches down, holding the gourd. Recalling the information from the forum, she finally understands. The 30-year-old man who first went missing was not a victim but the perpetrator, so he probably got what he deserved. Thinking this, she feels sympathy for the female ghost, whose experience was truly tragic. She turns around and sees the ghost. This time, Nana is not afraid. She thinks the ghost has remained here because she was looking for this gourd. Once she has it, she will be free. So Nana prepares to hand the gourd to the ghost, but it seems she was mistaken. The ghost suddenly grabs her hand and appears to have killed her too. The next day, a new tenant comes to see the apartment. She asks the manager if anyone has died here. The manager says that although no one has died, the previous tenant went missing. The woman is relieved to hear this, says it's fine, and decides to rent the place. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.